Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadlines so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
Happy Tuesday, hoes and hoettes.
Hoes and hoettes.
I don't know.
Happy Tuesday to all you fine felines
Ugh.
and fellas. I couldn't
There
think
you
of
go.
another F word.
And fuckers.
Oh
Did
yeah.
you see in our group chat about the stickers about after the last Patreon live stream we got off where Jenny's trigger warning, Jenny's naked hairless cat appeared on the frame, which she always goes, trigger warning, cat's coming. My phone was listening to me. And then I go on Reddit and suddenly everything like, here's a community we think you might like. And it's hairless cats. I'm like, no. And I had to block it.
I turned the suggestions off. Do you know you can turn them off in Reddit? I
But
turn
see,
them off and I don't
unfortunately,
get them anymore. But sometimes they
I
do work.
like them.
For me, the majority of them were things that I did not like, and I was like, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
So I turned it off. And
That's fair.
I've had a better Reddit experience.
You know, if I get down that rabbit hole again, I have blocked as many naked cat communities as I can find. So thankfully it has not been that. Don't put it on. I'm just looking at my phone. I'm like, don't give me more of those.
I feel like that's such a phrase that it could be not safe for work as well.
Oh my God. You're right. Not that Reddit cares, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean Reddit it'll say not safe for work, but I just feel like
Yeah, we should have trigger warning for the whole community.
that's a phrase that could pop up anything.
Oh,
if you Google that, you're not gonna get Jenny's cat coming up.
No. Maybe in a search result, but
you might get Jennifer's cat coming up.
There
in a
you go.
Different way.
Yeah, it's a look. Join our Patreon if you would also like to meet Jenny's hairless cat.
I don't even know what that cat's name is.
Me neither. I know Jenny's husband's name, but I don't know the cat's name. Shout out Jacob. We love Jacob. Jacob is our group husband.
Yes.
Well, I've watched so much content that I need to tell you about.
Okay.
Mons and I have been on a movie kick. There's a movie, we're watching it. We have been going so hard. We have been averaging minimum 2 movies a day.
Okay.
Not like every weekday, but like we are watching so many movies in addition to our weekday Jeopardy.
Okay.
So,
can I throw something out since you have things written down and
please.
there's something in my head? I did watch American Fiction. I don't know if you've seen it
I haven't seen it yet.
But there's something that I've been talking about making that they talk about, so now I can't do it. Or it's a big part of the movie.
But maybe it can be a tie-in and you say,
maybe
you pitch to them from the people who brought you American Fiction. Imagine this is an Easter egg. I've been working on something that's like this. We expand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. After you watch it, I will tell you well, you'll know when you see it, and then we'll have to talk about it because there's one specific thing that I want to tell you, but I can't tell you because it'll spoil the movie.
Okay. Well, we're going to watch it this weekend. I was going to ask if you had seen it yet because that's the one I've been holding off on until if you had seen it. So we will watch that. Maybe tomorrow we'll watch that.
Okay.
I'm very excited because I love everyone in it. And it's one of the best trailers I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's really good.
I bet. So we saw, first of all, we watched Self-Reliance, which is Jake Johnson's new movie that he wrote and directed.
Uh-huh.
Natalie Morales is in it. She's great. What would I rate it? I would give it I'd give it a B. Okay. I love everything he does, and I think he's so great that I don't want to say anything negative about it because I love him so much. And if it was my first movie that I wrote and directed and anyone had anything negative to say, I would cry and I would be very sad. But I think it was a very interesting story. And yeah. Okay.
All right.
There you go. And then we watched, after that, a movie that I have been wanting to see for a while. And when I tell you this is one of the best movies I've seen in so fucking long, we watched the Dungeons and Dragons movie. It is phenomenal. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't, because the people that are deep in the Dungeons and Dragon community are anti it because they don't like it being licensed out. One of those people being Jenny. So
sorry, Jenny.
So yeah, I haven't seen it because I was trying to support those people, but I also had no intention of seeing it anyway.
Okay, so here's the thing. And I have no loyalty to them, but now that I know that Jenny is one of them, Jenny, I'm so sorry. But I love it. And I was curious what fans thought, because I wasn't even sure how much existing material there was to pull an entire storyline from, how many creative liberties they got to take or they had to take or whatever it was. But it was just very well done. I thought the acting was great in it, but it was also funny. And I am just here for these kinds of action movies that are not Marvel, in the sense that the big tie-in with Marvel is outer space. That's the only, they're on a different planet, or it's much more futuristic for most of them. Mm-hmm. But this was all that, but think medieval kind of vibes, but also magic. And I was loving the outfits. I was loving the laughs. I was loving the idea of watching Hugh Grant being on set, doing all of this acting, being what, do your kids play this? Why are you doing this? This is it's so not him. He's so goofy in this movie that I was oh my God, Hugh, wow. He's really losing his grumpy street cred between the Paddington 2 movie, Wonka, and this. And I go, I think you're lying. I think you love a little jolly good time.
I mean, I know him from, I've told you before, I know him from romantic comedy days in the 90s, and he was more of the bumbling, floppy hair, I don't know that I'm being cute type of guy. And so I feel him being goofy is closer to that. Yeah,
but he's in his interviews, he's very much standoffish and is no, I'm much more buttoned up. And I'm you're a goofy goober. Stop lying. You are so goofy and you love being goofy. So it was I just thought it was good. I thought the effects were well done and well used. And I always find that things that are made from existing material, if I'm not a fan of that existing material, I just tend there's just more to go off of, and people get to be more creative in a lot of that stuff. So I'm sure for fans of it, it was probably really annoying. But for me, I was it felt like if Ella Enchanted and Marvel had a movie combined, and I was fuck yeah.
Which is, both are Disney, aren't they?
I think so. Yeah.
So it could happen. Mm-hmm. Aren't they coming out with a new Ella Enchanted? Maybe I made that up.
I love that movie. Have you seen that?
Nope.
I think you'd enjoy it.
I know I would. I just never got around to see it.
I read the book as a kid.
It's not Ella Enchanted that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
It's the other one.
Oh, Enchanted.
Yes.
With Amy Adams.
Mm-hmm.
And that doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. McMuffin. What is it? Dr. McGrib. Dr. McGriddle.
McDreamy.
Sorry. It's not a McDonald's
have
reference.
Dr. McSteamy as well.
Yeah, but all the mix. I just went to McGriddle, McDouble. Mm-hmm. So that was great. We loved that. And then we went to go see a movie in theaters.
What did you see?
So I told everyone last time when we saw the movie Bumblebee.
Pre-COVID.
Wait, did I not tell you guys how I saw Bumblebee?
No.
Okay, so I saw Bumblebee a couple weeks ago, starring Josh Hutcherson. First of all, they gave that man frosted tips, and he never left that spot in my heart. But to say that I didn't know that I could love him even more, turns out all I needed was for my future husband to be I love this little man. And then to me go, I'm so happy that my boyfriends get along. Like, this is so nice and great. He literally was like, Josh Hutcherson is amazing. And I was like, oh my God, I know. Like, I got to like fangirl over my boy with my boy. And I was like, this is so great. So we saw that. We loved it. It was so fucking good. I recommend it to like anybody. It is like one of those action movies that I have to say, I think it is the most ridiculous action movie I have ever seen. And it's much more violent than the one I'll talk about after. And it's like just pretty much straight action. And like we were like laughing because sometimes it was like so over the top ridiculous. Like it is so campy, like more campy than Fast and the Furious, like any of those. Like it was so fun. But I will say, if anybody has heard about this new way to watch a movie, what is it called? I need to warn people because I didn't know what this meant and neither did Mott's. And then we got in the theater and we were like, this should be fun. And it wasn't.
Was it where the 4X?
Is that what it's called?
You're in the little machine?
There wasn't smell.
Wind blowing at you?
No. But close. It's almost that. It is called...
Because remember I was trying to get you to go see Little Mermaid with me in 4X.
Fuck that. And I was like, I can't do that one. Oh my God, maybe they stopped showing them in these theaters because they were like, people don't like it. Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to warn you all. And I'm so worried that you guys are going to have to go through this as well. Oh wait, I'm at the wrong theater. Unfortunately, everybody, this is just a risk we're going to have to take. They put you in a fucking box and there are screens all around you. So you're watching the movie on 3 screens, but they tell you just focus on the one in front of you. But it's not like it's out of focus on the sides next to you. It's in focus, but they've just extended the same shot to wrap all the way around. So it's not like a concert where you have 3 different screens that are showing the exact same thing. It's imagine the movie that is spread out on 3 screens. So for some of the shots, it makes sense, like the intro title sequence or whatever, that you know that they've expanded it and they've made it so they shot it initially being this wide, so it fits. Then for some of the other action ones, they didn't shoot it like that, so they just said, just stretch it the fuck out. Yeah,
sometimes they'll put 3 cameras on it, and then because it's a gimmick, essentially, they'll shoot some of the shots with 3 cameras, and then most of it, it's not.
No, and so then you just have like, I'm watching a fight scene and like, is it Vin Diesel? No, it's not Vin Diesel. It's who's the British one who's married to Rose Huntington-Whiteley? Jason Statham. Mm-hmm. Jason Statham is spread out over 2 screens, which that man is not tall. So like he's just looking even shorter as this is happening. And it's like a handheld fight scene that like is just like, it's so chaotic that I would have to like put my hands on either side so I wouldn't see the ones on the side. So that was, but even that couldn't stop us from absolutely loving The Beekeeper. It was so fucking good and it was great, but it was a little loud, so I had to plug my ears for certain things, which led me to my wonderful discovery of wearing my concert earplugs to the movies. It has changed my life. Like I'm enjoying movies so much more because they're not nearly as loud, especially for action movies, because we avoid ones that are like explosion movies. I was like, there's no way I could see Oppenheimer in theaters. And now I'm like, I got to see Oppenheimer in theaters with these earplugs. So we loved Beekeeper, which inspired us to be like, we've been seeing all these trailers. We got to go see more. So we went to go see Argyle. And I'm about to get on my soapbox. And everybody needs to stop talking shit about this movie. Because this movie was a fun time. It was colorful. Was it really long? Yes. But like everything, there were so many twists to the point it was like so overly campy that it was like, I enjoyed it. And the cat is not in the movie that much. So like, that's fine for me. And it was
I have
just
no idea what this movie's about. I just know on the
there's
poster,
a cat.
No one is wearing Argyle, but it is the decoration in the back of the.
It is the movie that like,
poster.
If I could Keith Lee video format this movie, I would say the issue is the marketing. Like the reason why this movie is not doing well is the marketing. First of all, it's an Apple produced film. So for most of the advertisements on streaming and Hulu, it appears that it's going to be on Apple TV Plus. They're not you can't really, you just assume that it's streaming, not in theaters. Like I was like, when Mom's like, let's go see want to watch Argyle. We were scrolling. We're like, oh, it's going to theaters. We assumed this was going to be streaming. Mm-hmm. And then they showed the cat a ton and they showed Dua Lipa, who's in 2 minutes of the movie. They don't show anyone, really pretty much anyone else in the movie. Bryan Cranston's in the movie. No one knew that. Like, it is so funny. Moira Rose is also in it. And it's just so over the top that like, it is like it's the same guy who did Kingsman. So like it's a Kingsman
it looks
style.
Like the poster looks like Kings because I thought it was a Kingsman
prequel. That's what Mott's thought too.
Yeah, like it was in the universe of Kingsman,
and it is in the universe. Like technically, like we're getting to the Marvel points where like things are in the universe, but like they're all based on. I don't know if Argyle is based on a comic, but Kingsman is based on a comic. Yeah. So I don't know how they're connected necessarily. Like it's.
Yeah, Kingsman is one of those movies that came out around my birthday, and so
that's a great birthday movie.
Yeah, it is.
So Argyle, I wish they advertised it like a Kingsman movie to people who've already seen the Kingsman movies and are fans of that. So like, come on, this is fun, this is goofy, this is great. And people were like very mad about the special effects, and they're like, this is like so. And I just want people to know that when they get annoyed about special effects, I just want you to think about the fact that these actors are in these costumes on a green screen or on a blue screen doing all the things that they're doing with nothing happening. And that's so fucking funny to me.
Following a tennis ball.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people are like, oh my God, all this is fake. I go, and you're not giggling? You're not laughing your ass off at what's his name? Nondescript white man who looks like every other white man. Both of those men are in this movie. Superman, the one who is, that's just a man. And the other one is the one who is just a man, who's the man in everything. They're both the ones that I talk about who I never recognize anytime we watch something, and I go, that man? And we got to the movie, and I go, were those both of those men? And he was like, yeah. He's like, do you think you'll recognize them now? Never.
Who are you talking? See, I think Henry Cavill, he's different to me. Are you talking about Sam Rockwell?
Because both of those are my men.
Sam Rockwell is just a man to me, but like I can pick out Henry Cavill.
Oh, I can out of a lineup couldn't, not to save my life. At first I thought, is he trying to be like that Superman guy? And then Mott's was like, that's him. And I go, who? And he goes, Henry Cavill. I go, who's Henry Cavill? And he goes, that man that you never recognize who plays Superman. I go, oh my God, I thought he was trying to be him. So it was, the acting is hilarious. Like Sam Rockwell's so funny in it. And I just think that there's no way that they didn't have like a ton of fun making this. Like it is just so over the top and ridiculous. But the storyline itself is very good. And so people were, the criticism was like too much CGI, and it was 20 minutes too long in the sense that like there are too many twists. But I think at that point it's funny because it's like, there's just another twist and another twist, and like they're getting annoyed by it. They're not asking you to treat it seriously.
What is this cast?
Melissa, I know they're marketing so bad. Like it's great.
Like Dua Lipa, Bryce Dallas Howard, Bryan Cranston, we've mentioned Henry Cavill and Sam Rockwell, Ariana DeBose,
yes,
John Cena.
Also, I wasn't sure if it was Ariana DeBose, and then I heard the when they did the credits and the song, I go, so it was Ariana DeBose because that's her voice, and she definitely sang this.
Wow,
it's good.
I saw the poster for it, and I was like, this looks like a movie I'll watch at home, but maybe I'll see it in theaters. Probably not, because I got a lot of shit going on right now.
And it's long.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll see it.
I just would recommend it to anyone. Like, it is just fun. And I love going to the movie theater and laughing and having fun. And like, that was this. And like, it was so fucking empty, Melissa. Every showing, we were like, let's go see if we can get tickets. Opening weekend, no one was there. It was empty. And I was like, all of you fucking movie snobs and all that shit, stop. Bring back the fun of the movies again. We don't always need to cry. It doesn't need to be Oscar winning. It doesn't need like any of that stuff. Like, are we forgetting in the Kingsman when she says, if you save the world, I'll let you put it in my ass? Like sometimes we need ridiculous things in these movies. And this one I would say is definitely not nearly as like sexual in that sense as like Kingsman. But it's so silly and so ridiculous. And I love content like that. And I think we need to bring back that.
Okay, you said that it's in the same universe, but Samuel L. Jackson isn't playing the same character in both?
No, but also one of the girls who's also in all the Kingsmen, or she's the villain. She's like Samuel L. Jackson's sidekick villain in the first one, right? Where's he? He's the villain in the first or the second? First, right?
I don't remember. I feel like,
but so she's his sidekick in that, and she's in this movie too, but she's playing a different role.
Okay.
But they did a thing after like the credits where there was like a little clip thing, which I think was supposed to tie it to the Kingsman. But to be totally honest, like I just was really confused. I was like, what does that mean? And I was like, I'll ask Mott's. And we got out of the theater and I go, what did that mean? He goes, I have no idea. And I was like, oh, okay. So I think that was supposed to tie it to it, but I'm not sure. But it was just, it's good and it's funny. And Sam Rockwell is like hilarious in it. And like, I'm just so happy Sam Rockwell gets to have like a hee hee ha ha fun movie. Because like Sam Rockwell's been doing a lot of dark stuff and maybe not as of late, but there was a time period where Sam Rockwell was like only playing like really horrible people.
Yep.
And I'm like, I hope you had such a fun time. So I recommended people I always think like in general of like reading reviews, I always read audience score. Like I read audience reviews as well as like critic reviews. And I specifically will find women and non-white women to read their reviews of this and young people. And I just have to say, sometimes you just got to go to a movie to have a fun time. Doesn't need to change anything. Doesn't need to move the needle. And then obviously after that, we came home and we watched both the Kingsman movies. So we watched 3 movies in a row. And it was great. And it was so good. And I loved it. So I recommend it to absolutely everybody. And now finally, I'll actually start watching all of the heavy Oscar noms.
I still haven't gotten in the mood to do any of that.
No, I was thinking of starting with American Fiction. Mm-hmm. And then...
Because it's not heavy. American Fiction,
but
it's like there are heavy moments, but it's not like a heavy movie. But it's not a fun movie.
Yeah, there's no it's not like CGI explode. Like it's not the eye candy that way. So I'm like, maybe that'll ease me into and then we get into like the quiet, sad movies. And who knows how many I'll do of that because it's not my favorite.
Yeah.
In this current time period. But so fucking fantastic.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
We do need to talk about the Keke Palmer, Bobbi Althoff.
Yeah.
I need everybody to go watch. You don't have to watch the whole podcast. I would recommend you do. Keke does great, wonderful podcasts, but specifically the quote that I wrote down when she says, "We have the same managers." Mm-hmm. Will I be getting on IMDb Pro later to check that out? Yes, I will. And then you're an industry plant, right? Mm-hmm. Doesn't even answer one question, and all she says is like, "Oh, it's crazy." Like, I don't know, like it's crazy. You got here in 5 minutes, and it took me 20 years. Mm-hmm. But then, my favorite was as Bobby's like, "I don't even know what the definition of industry plant is." Keke goes on to describe an industry plant, one of which the things she mentions is no talent, and then ends the sentence with, "You feel planty to me." To her face, basically says, "You feel like a talentless, shitty hack and absolute waste of content and space of someone who actually deserves to be here." And it was just like so masterfully delivered that I a little bit in me, I saw another future for Keke if she wanted, that she could. I know she had her Keke Palmer show, that people have been asking for Wendy Williams to come back. And we know that when Keke's been on Wendy's show and so, and Keke will call anyone out. If someone says something, she's like, that was shady. I'm like, Keke Palmer could lure anyone onto that show and she could roast them to the point where they don't even know it's happening.
I honestly think that's why she started a podcast, because she wanted to do like the View type show for millennials. And I don't think it ever it never took off. So I think the reason she's doing her podcast is to get that. Because I was like, first of all, when I just saw a clip and Bobbi popped up and I was like, why is she here? And then Keke started answering the questions and Keke started asking the questions and then also answering the questions for Bobbi. I was like, she's here because Keke's manager was like, it'd be really good, like, cross promotion. Can you please have her on? And Keke was like, who is she? And then Keke looked it up and then was like, oh yeah, I'll have her on.
Keke Palmer's manager, their shared manager, was definitely in the background sweating because Keke goes, I want to see why you rip them. I want to show me what you got. And oh my God, like I had the same reaction because it's like, so like I listened to her podcast. I watched the podcast, but it was such a different guest than like normal. And I was like, what are we doing here? And I was like, oh, this is exactly what we're doing here. This is it was like malicious compliance. Like, I think you should have, she's also my client. Can you put her on the podcast? And Keke said, say less. I'll put her on the podcast. Didn't say I was going to be nice. Didn't say I wasn't going to grill her. Didn't say any of that. And I was like, and it was just so well done that like, she's also like America's fucking sweetheart. And so like, I do think that you invite any of those people on, they're not going to know that they're being bullied. And also like, they're going to feel bad about themselves and they're probably going to change their behavior. Because like, if Keke Palmer essentially told me like, I'm disappointed in you. And like, I think that like, you're not bringing a lot to the table. And like, there are people who are more talented than you. I'd be like, let me see myself out. Like, thank you so much.
But also, I don't think Bobbi is self-aware enough to even understand what happened to her.
No, I think she thought that she was getting back the quote unquote bit that she does.
Yep.
And I also think she was kind of bitter about that, like in like the reception of it, which I mean, I think a lot of the trends with how Bobbi's podcasts and videos go are very racially divided in how those interviews go, and then how people respond to her, she responds differently too. And so I was like, okay, this feels nasty. Right. And I mean, I'm with Keke wholeheartedly, and I do want to know how she's what plant, how did this happen? Because she is
100%, because it doesn't make any sense how she made that leap so quickly.
Well, and like people be like, well, no, she's really popular on TikTok. Like I'm, as someone who has been in like the content creation space for a while and has been signed to like big agencies, big managements and all of that kind of stuff. There are so many agents at those places that like the crossover that you'll have with those agents who rep those big clients, like is not none, but it's not usually going to be that those are going to be your point person, because most of those people aren't accepting new clients because they work with the higher, the more your client works, the less clients you will have. But then on top of that, that kind of like, oh, well, she's at the same agency. So like, they just like use their roster. Like that is not how that fucking works. Like I've gotten to go to like a lot of really cool things and had like very cool opportunities because of, oh, this person reps this person and they rep that. This will work like that. But how she's doing it is not how that works whatsoever.
Right.
So something else was happening there. And she knows, we know. And she like tried to play dumb about the whole thing. Keke was like, I'm not letting you get away with this.
And good for Keke.
Great for Keke, because of all of the people, like Keke has worked. If I was Bobbi, I would have been like, I can't go on that show. Because what am I going to say to the girl who has worked harder than anyone for longer than I've even been in? I don't know. She's probably I don't even know how old Bobbi is, but it's like Keke's been working while you were in diapers.
And also, I feel like Bobbi thought it was going to be okay since they have the same manager.
Yeah. I think
maybe the manager
hates
okay maybe the manager hates Bobbi.
I love a long con.
Mm-hmm.
I do love a long con, but it's just like, ugh. And if anybody is like, well, no, watch how she built up specifically her podcast on the backs of just talking down to all of specifically like musical artists was who she had on, but only Black people. And then she had white people on, and she was like so nice, and like she would wear a cute outfit. She was wearing like sweatpants and was like scowling the whole time. Then she has Scarlett Johansson on, and she's like, oh, like lip gloss hair. She's complimenting, oh my god, you look so pretty. Like the whole thing is fucking different. And it's like, this is so blatantly obvious and like so incredibly clear to be like, oh, how can I use and degrade Black people to build up my numbers and get more famous so then I can have white people on and then just like drop the act.
Right.
Nasty. Absolutely nasty. So would love to find out the plant.
One day.
The
One
roots,
day.
the seedling, where that came from.
Mm-hmm. But not in the same way that Victoria Monet said that she was a plant, a seedling, the roots.
Can we talk about the fact that my instinct reaction when she won Best New Artist was, that's not right. She's not a new artist.
She's been around forever. Nope.
Then people were like, who is she? And I'm like, stop lying. Like, just of anyone to say you don't know, like, truly, stop fucking lying.
Yep.
Why are you always lying? Stop lying.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked and obviously thrilled because I think it's late. This is very late. But the idea that some people were like, we don't even know her.
Well, that's fine. Now you do.
And also,
you're a fucking liar, but now you do.
You've been dancing to her songs on TikTok for the last year.
Yes.
You've been bopping to songs she wrote for years.
And I was like, I've never paid attention to Ariana Grande until this album. And who wrote all those songs?
When I tell you, when I heard that album, I said, this is good. And I looked up because I go, who wrote this? And I looked it up and then watched YouTube interviews because I was like, I like this bitch.
Uh-huh.
She is good. She is quick. She's mighty with that little pen. And like, she's amazing. And I watched the clip of her on the red carpet. She's talking about just like her career and like how long it took to get here. And she's like holding her daughter, and her daughter starts fussing. Husband, 2 seconds. He's in frame. He's making sure not to distract, but distracting the baby and doing all of that. And I was like, I love this for you, girl. Like,
great family.
And he's gorgeous. They're both gorgeous.
He was on Issa Rae's liquor company, or I think it's just wine. At least Issa Rae's wine company had some video of he's like making a cocktail or something shirtless. They took it down. I don't know, because Avi had sent it to me. Yeah, but like so many people were thirsting after, and she had sent it to me, and I didn't get a chance to see it. But she said it had like 13 million views, and it was exponentially more than everything else that was on that page.
And then they said, this is actually Victoria Monet's husband. We should I'm so sorry, girl. We'll take that down. That was we're not trying to be mad. Happy for you. Oh, we're not gonna have any of this thirsting going on here. Like, I love her, and I've been getting like irrationally angry at everybody who's saying that like they don't know her.
They're liars.
They're liars.
They're haters.
And the day after the Grammys is a day where I am just like, it is a day where I'm not like other girls. I'm looking at everyone else and go, what are we? Stop. Like, I'm like, people are like, we want to hear your thoughts. I'm like, by no means will I hop on here, because this is, y'all, so embarrassing. So embarrassing. So fucking embarrassing.
I did get a little vindicated though, because I don't know if you remember that when I told you how much I love that Miley Cyrus song.
Oh, yeah.
And then we got on the live stream and somebody was talking about how it was like the #1 stream song on Spotify. And they're like, who's listening to this? And I'm like, I'm listening to it.
Me.
Like, I love that fucking song. And she got 2 Grammys for it. I loved her performance though, which was cool. She's so much fun.
First of all, I love the ode to Tina Turner with the hair. And also, she was one of 5 people who actually turned an outfit that didn't look like it came from the prom section of like Dillard's.
Yep.
Like she actually looked like she picked out her outfit with her eyes open and caffeinated. And it wasn't elastic. Like it was intentional. And she had all the changes and it was like gorgeous. Girl I went to high school with sang backup for her there. And I was like listening and I heard and I was like, that sounds familiar.
Well,
and I've like known her my whole life.
You know who used to sing backup for her?
Candace.
Well,
didn't she sing backup for Hannah, technically?
It was the Best of Both Worlds tour. So both of them.
We do one disc, we flip, and then we go, nice. I love that. They've got that in common. But yeah, it just like, she was so good. I liked a lot of the other performances, but like I only watched the highlights at this point. I did too. Because I can't. Poor Blue Ivy.
I loved everything Jay-Z had to say though.
No, me too, but she's like, can I sit down? Like,
right. But also after how like Beyonce is the celebrity to celebrities and there was a line of people to meet her and Blue Ivy's like looking like, can we go home?
Yeah, she was, I have homework. Yes. I have a bedtime. Like it is getting late.
I have school tomorrow.
Literally. And I love that there's a clip of Beyonce who left her meet and greet line to go say hi to Billy and Phineas to be like, I love the song. And she's like, puts her hands on Phineas's shoulders and is like rubbing his shoulders and like getting their attention. And he turns around and goes, Beyonce? And just stands up and all on Twitter, everybody's like, yeah, he gets it. Like he was just like, what? And it was like, so I was like, that. And she was like, I love that song. Like it's so beautiful. And I was like, oh my God. I loved her outfit.
Me too. And
I love a little yeehaw.
It had pants and little shorts.
She's like Tearaway.
I can do both.
Watch me. Versatile. Yeah, that was cute. That was great. What else did I like?
Tracy Chapman.
Okay. I'm not going to stop talking shit on Luke Combs because I was really annoyed when people were saying like, oh my God, I love Fast Car by Luke Combs. And I'm like, truly shut the fuck up. This has been my favorite song since the day I was born. Like, I didn't know a world without this song. This has been my, like, you could find Tumblr posts from me when I'm in like 9th grade being like, this is my favorite song. I love this song more than anything. And like, I don't fuck with a lot of country singers until they explicitly tell me, hi, I'm not a Republican.
Right.
Right. So I just don't fuck with them. And I was just getting so annoyed because all the song would be trending over on TikTok and stuff. And I would just get bitter because it's not his version. It's like, it's not her version. And
I don't think I've ever heard his version. That's the funny thing is like, I've never heard his version.
And people were getting like, they're like, oh my God, why didn't he change the lyrics? Like he says he's a checkout girl. Like, and I'm like, see, this is how I know your audience is transphobic and like misogynistic and homophobic because they don't even deserve to hear this song. Like, fuck off. But when the lights came up, and first of all, she looked gorgeous performing. She just looked like, and like when people realized it was her and the smile on her face, I watched it.
She had tears like forming in her eyes.
Oh my God. It was just like to feel like seen and like appreciated. Like so many people, like she was not appreciated enough in her time. Yeah. And the fact
she was so young. Like I think she was 24 when that song came out.
And like the fact that like that song has had such a life for all of these people like me. I was a kid listening to that song growing up and I've loved it since I was a literal child up until now as an adult. Yeah. So you have all these people who have this love and adoration and respect for her that she didn't get at that time to then feel like huge, not like risk, but like huge out of her comfort zone, has not performed live in so long, to have all of these people be like so happy to see her. That's not, a lot of people don't get to have that. It usually happens after they're gone. So I loved that. And then his face the whole time, just looking at her in odd admiration.
Such a fanboy. He was so fanboy. He was like, I can't believe I'm up here with her.
No, he looked like a toddler who was like, Christmas is tomorrow. He was just like he was like giddy and like just, he felt like he was vibrating, like was just like so happy and in awe of her and that he was able to do this with her. So I'm a little less bitter about him covering the song. Yeah. So, and I'm glad like a lot of people who heard his version and was like, he's the best, this is the best song ever. Even he is like, my version's not the best version. Like her version, it's the song. It's not me singing the song, it's the song. And when you hear it, how she sings it. So I hope people who are just standing him now are opening their eyes up to her. And also, it does feel a little ironic that people would have that when bigots enjoy that song. I go, do you know what this song is about?
Right.
Do you get it?
Mm-hmm.
Not so much.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Taylor announced her new album.
Mm-hmm.
You're like a big fan, and you're like, yeah, okay.
No, so here's where things diverge.
I'm waiting. I knew you didn't mention it.
Oh yeah, I know.
So I was
at certain times of the year, I turn in my Swiftie card and I say, I'm stepping back. Please exclude me from this narrative that I didn't ask to be a part of.
You've never claimed to be a Swiftie, though.
No. Well, here's the thing. Like, I was a Swiftie before the TikTok happened, and there was this different kind of Swiftie. So, like, you know, things were different. So, I think the cover of the album art is like very pretty. I have a lot of questions because this was leaked on Twitter. I mean, on TikTok like a month ago, like the full track list of everything. And so people are like, how did that happen? Like that's really rare for it to be spot on. And everyone thought it wasn't real because they're like, these titles sound like Ariana Grande songs. Like there's no way these are what they're called. And it's like, no, it's what they're called. I love the artwork. I think that it's giving me an Aaron Dessner vibe producing instead of Jack Antonoff, which I would love at this point if he produced an album for her and totally just him. Like, I think that would be great. I think the title of the album, I'm not about to get on here ever and hate Joe Alwyn for being like, I'll hate on him for being British, but like I'm not about to hate on him for this. And like I'm a little worried about the backlash for this because I don't know if you know, the title of the album is a reference to a group chat that he has that they've publicly said in interviews is a group chat with him and like Paul Mescal, and I don't know if Andrew Scott's in it, but it's like some British and Irish actors who are all in this group chat called like the Tortured Man Club. And so it's I think like the Tortured Poet Society is what she called it. So like it's a reference. Okay. And I'm just like, that's a little worrisome. But yeah, I very much enjoy her music. I liked the Midnight's album. But by no means was that the album of the year. Like, SZA was the album of the year.
Oh yeah, yep.
And I say that as a fan of both of them, but like as somebody who has listened to the Midnight's album more than I've listened to SZA's album, I still know that SZA's album is the album of the year, and like the criteria for that I think is getting misconstrued. That like the requirements for album of the year are different for white people. And so they're like, it has to be a cultural phenomenon. It has to have changed the zeitgeist. It has to have like inspired these things. It had to be like in the news, in the headlines. It had to be like inspire all of these other trends and that stuff. And so, but if you, to scale in comparison, and even more outright one, Harry's house, like Harry Styles to Renaissance, one of those things checked all of those boxes to a higher level than the other. And sure, they both did, but like at completely different stratospheres. And same thing here. So like Taylor Swift was, I would say, an artist of the year who was doing all of these things, but like that album was not the album of the year. Like, so, but SZA's was like, that got so many new SZA fans. So many people who like don't even realize that that's it. Like so many people who are like wanting to use like movie references, like Kill Bill and things, like TikTok trends, like even people recreating the album artwork and all of this kind of stuff in a way that is like unique to the album, not unique to the artist. So like people do that with Taylor Swift because it's Taylor Swift, not because that album, but people lost their shit over SZA's album. not because of SZA, but because of the album.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me was like just so I didn't think it could get any more any clearer than last year. And then I was like, okay, so this is just what we do now.
Yep. Well, that was Jay-Z's whole point.
Yep.
Some of y'all don't belong in the category.
Oh, and like, yeah, it's just so. It's just like, I understand the artists who just like stop submitting themselves because they're like, what's the point of this?
Yep.
And I think that like being nominated is an honor. And it should be an honor, but at a certain point, for some people, it's only about the winning, and those are the people who keep winning. And it's like, how about they get the honor of being nominated?
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like a lot of people should just settle for the honor when a lot of other people don't have to settle for that.
Right.
So, yeah, I just... And I distance myself from... all of like
this is the time of the year you're like
no, this is, and like most of like the Swiftie content or like Taylor Swift like not Swiftie, Taylor Swift content like I engage with is almost predominantly, well, actually no, it is predominantly BIPOC and queer Swifties. So like that's the circles that and the things I consume of that nature. But yeah, it is just. It was an ordeal. It was an ordeal, and I'm excited to listen to the album. I do want to know why she's recording so many, though.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you trying to get out of your last contract? But I'm pretty sure she's happy with her contract. But like, I don't know what.
It is coming pretty fast.
Yeah, and I think that like sometimes. Things
better to take your time.
Yeah, and I mean like the duo of albums of Folklore and Evermore, which is the ones that like happened over the pandemic, which got like crazy critical acclaim. That's like the largest gap she had between albums was when she released that. And that to me, I'm like, the proof is in the pudding there that like this is a very it's good to kind of hold on to those things. But I think the re-records of like the from the vault tracks that she didn't put on, people are just loving. And I'm usually this person where I'm like, more is more. Like, give me more. Like, I'll take whatever. Like, I can take. And I do this in general. Like, I'll take what works for me and I'll leave the rest. Like, I don't need perfection in that. But I can't imagine it's sustainable, whether it's not sustainable for her, for even people who work for her or like whatever it is. Like, it's just a lot.
Oof.
So
how is she not tired? She's touring.
I know. Just going to the Super Bowl from Japan.
I wasn't going to bring it up. Well, I will anything else from the Grammy?
Well, I was going to say he did. He had a cute moment where I was like, okay. Did you see where someone asked him, which I don't even know how that happened, but someone was talking about how he invented his hairstyle of the fade, and he said, I don't know who started that. I did not invent that. And he goes, and you're going to say that this month? He's
like, why would you do that to me on February 1st?
I know. And people were like, huh? And I went, oh my God, over your heads. Good God. But I was like, okay, that was he is more, he's not like Renee Rapp, not media trained, but like he is, to be a man who can be so honest.
Yes. Yep.
And I was like, what a luxury. And I hope he appreciates that.
I saw somebody put a comment on that video and was like, Taylor said, honey, why do you talk like that? What was that supposed to mean? It's like, that is how he talks.
Questions. We all have questions. Well,
speaking of SZA.
Perfect. What do SZA and Meg Thee Stallion have in common? Anyway.
No one gets it but us and people that saw that thread.
Yeah. Beautiful gowns, except here's the issue. A lot of them were ugly as fuck gowns.
That was part of the shade.
What do you mean?
Oh, because the beautiful gowns is the Aretha Franklin saying that about Taylor Swift. That's where that came from.
But I was going to say that, like, even people who, like, I can't even say the only thing, okay, nights out. No, there was nothing there.
Yeah.
I need everybody to fire their stylist, except for Margot Robbie and whoever else Margot Robbie stylist styles.
Mm-hmm.
We need a refresh.
Mm-hmm.
So, and one of my 2024 predictions already came true. Casey Musgraves just announced that she's dropping an album.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew it. She's coming. So that'll be good. I wonder what the inspiration was. I think at this point, she's going to be like, so the inspiration behind this is I had an alien encounter. And so that's this album.
I wish.
Because last time she was like, when she did Golden Hour, she was like, oh, so this album, I did LSD and acid and like had a trip. And everyone's like, whoa, so honest. She's going to be like, I got kidnapped by aliens. And so I wrote this album.
I got to find out what her secrets are.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that. Anything else from the Grammys for you?
I can't think of. Again, all I watched was the highlights. I didn't watch the actual thing. So I think that's all I saw.
Did you have a best dress?
Can't even tell you. I don't remember anything. And I didn't watch. I got to go watch, what's her name?
Laverne Cox.
That was Wakanda on the Weekends, but she's changed her name. She always does reviews. I got to go see what she said.
My best dressed was Tyla. And someone made a comment that I went, that's why I love everything that she fucking wears. Is they're like, she always looks like a Winx character. Like she looks like a fairy. And I was like, that's the aesthetic that I'm upset. Like I love that shit. And so I thought her outfit, I like loved her outfit.
That looks like somebody like Slutty Tinkerbell at
that's what I'm
Halloween.
saying.
I love it.
And like, that is my favorite fashion sense. Like give me Slutty Tinkerbell. So that one was cute. I liked Miley stuff. And that was the Grammys. I liked Blue's outfit too. She looked pretty.
Yeah, it's a good outfit for kiddo.
Yeah. We watched so many Beyonce music videos. Oh, and what did I watch that Mats was like floored by that he like didn't know? And he was like, holy shit, that's so good. Oh my God, what was it?
What was it about?
It was a music video that he hadn't seen. And it wasn't Carrie Hilson.
Carrie Hilson, who had her career destroyed by Beyonce.
Well, here's the thing. Mats was like, she's so talented. Like, why? And I was like, well, she writes. She like wrote before she performed. And he was like, what is she doing now? And I like scrolled down and I'm like looking at all her accolades. And then at the end of her Wikipedia, it goes, Carrie Hilson believes that the coronavirus vaccine interferes with the 5G connection. And I went, and he goes,
oh my gosh.
So she's an anti-vaxxer? And I go, I mean, they're not going to include if she thinks that the polio vaccine gives you autism, because once you get to 5G, there's 5G is the final destination. Yeah. So like, I don't know if she's in the catch-all of that, but like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, she claims that her record label made her release a diss track about Beyonce, which she did release it. And then after that, we didn't really hear from her ever again.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. You should just type in Carrie Hilson, Beyonce. I feel like this will be a rabbit hole that you and Mats will enjoy.
Okay.
Were you talking about maybe A. Marie?
No. I will not fucking remember it for the life of me. I don't know. But we watched a bunch of Destiny's Child ones too. And he was like, Beyonce is a star. And I was like, I know. Oh, it was someone who he said he's like, oh, that used to be one of his celebrity crushes. No, Ashanti used to be one of his celebrity crushes from John Tucker Must Die. And he said, Ashanti. And I was like,
you mean J-Lo's voice?
Well, he did ask me. We did a lot of side-by-side compilation videos, which, by the way, there was a released one of her unauto-tuned SNL performance. So she didn't sing at her SNL performance, which everyone sings on SNL, and the audio is notoriously bad. Like, even people who are great. The only people who have sounded like good are Renee Rapp and was it Kelly Clarkson or Adele?
I think Adele. I don't even remember Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah, there's only like 2 people where people are like, wow, when you can out-sing the bad fucking audio setup, like that's impressive. And a lot of artists won't do SNL because it sounds bad no matter how good you are. So there was one of like J-Lo that was released and then they took it down so fucking fast and put it back up, but it's like the backing track that's like, you just hear the track. And so I tried to find it and I couldn't find it anywhere. They've cleared all of it. And Mott's is like, I just picture Ben Affleck on like a home desktop computer, be like, okay, got that one, babe. Just chugging Dunkin' Donuts.
It was probably the same. Remember when in Gone Girl where there was like a side view of his penis and they had a team going on the internet removing anything about that? Probably the same people.
Yeah. No, they're like on fucking lock. And I was like, okay. He's determined. And you know what? Love that for her. Happy for her. He's bleeding out for her. If I remember what the song is later, I'll let you know. I did show him Fergalicious, which he was like, this is a fun music video. We were just like showing all of the music videos that like defined our childhood. And that was the one. But I can't fucking remember what the other one was that he was like, that is amazing. And I was like, I know. I don't know. Anyways, we hope you all enjoyed this episode. Anything we need to request from people?
Just listen to the episodes. There won't be I don't remember if I said it at the beginning of this. If I did, I will cut this. But there won't be a new, but am I wrong this week? But hopefully next week there will be. I just got a lot of shit going on.
And we don't need another podcast on top of it. So we hope you all enjoyed. Leave us a review. Join our Patreon if you'd like to support the show. And we'll see you next time.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests to share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Do you love Disney? Do you love top 10 lists? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the Magical Millennial.
And I'm the Dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. The parks, the movies, the music, the food, the lore. There is nothing we don't cover on our show.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed.
I had Danielle and Megan record some answers to seemingly meaningless questions. I asked Danielle what insect song is typically higher pitched in hotter temperatures and lower pitched in cooler temperatures.
You got this.
No, I didn't.
Don't believe that. About a wish coming true? Well, I didn't either. Of course, I'm just a
cicada. I'm crying. I'm so sorry, Jiminy.
You win that one.
So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.